What's up, guys? We are your young guns. Today, we've been dropped with sad news. And the sad news is that Tuuka Rask, the goaltender of the Boston Bruins, has not officially announced his retirement, but he's gonna announce his retirement by the end of this week. Whoever is watching this video now, or by the end of the week when he makes the official announcement, we're probably gonna be one of the few guys who had covered the news immediately because we have a lot to say about Tuukka Rask. Essentially, he's a legendary goaltender for the Boston Bruins. We respect what he's done. He won the Stanley Cup in 2011, backing up Tim Thomas. He won the Vezina in 2014 for a career season in the 2013-2014 NHL season for the Boston Bruins, and he also won. Give me a second. One more trophy, which was the 2020 William Jennings Trophy. If I'm
William M.Jennings Trophy, which is like the best goalie tandem in the league, essentially.
yeah,
So him
so
and whatever Halak, I think it
it
was.
was Yaroslav Halak,
Yeah,
if I'm not
him and
mistaken.
Halak.
So
Yeah,
essentially, the news broke out through the Athletic, and I'm gonna just state what they said in the article was that the Bruins are not expecting Tuukka Rask to continue his comeback, according to two sources familiar with the situation. Rask has last played on January 24th against the Anaheim Ducks, which he allowed 5 goals on 27 shots. He reported discomfort related to his hip surgery following the game. He is currently on IR. Rask is discussing his future with his family, according to both sources. He may finalize his retirement decision in the next couple of days. I give him all the credit in the world, said one of the sources. He did everything right. He didn't feel as good as he thought he would. Rask started his on ice recovery in November. He signed a 1 year deal at $1 million on January 11th. He made his season debut 2 days later, stopping 25 out of 27 shots in a 3-2 win over the Philadelphia Flyers. After the win, Rask did not have a single complaint about his physical condition, but the 34-year-old goaltender, according to one of the sources, did not feel as good as he expected as the action ramped up. He allowed 5 goals on 12 shots in his next start against the Hurricanes. He was pulled after the first period. Rask rebounded against the Winnipeg Jets on January 22nd, stopping 22 shots in a 3-2 win. The Bruins were encouraged by Rask's play against the Jets. He drew the following start against the Ducks, but fought the puck the entire game. Rask
yeah,
backed up Linus Allmark 2 days later against the Colorado Avalanche. It was the last time he was in uniform. He did not dress against the Arizona Coyotes, Dallas Stars, or Seattle Kraken prior to the All-Star break. The Bruins hope Rask would feel better after 6 days of rest, but on Monday, Coach Bruce Cassidy declared Rask would not practice this week. So that's the entire article on the Athletic. You guys could check that out online. The way things are going, it seems like Tuukka Rask is done. He's gonna call it a
yeah,
career. They have Swayman and Allmark, who were pretty much doing pretty well, I would say, without Tuukka Rask. There was
yeah.
inconsistency in goaltending. They brought back
Hmm.
Rask.
Yeah,
Everyone was shocked to see him do amazing at first, right? And then he allowed 5 goals, and we're like, yo, like, is this something that is he's having an off game, or maybe there's something else that's bothering him concerning his surgery
yeah.
or the injury he had prior to the surgery. So
No, it's a,
I think, in my opinion, it's likely he retires. That's why we're making a video. So I don't want anyone, like any of our viewers, thinking, oh, this is false news. Because what are the chances that he does retire? Everything we wouldn't be making this video if every single piece of information we've read is pointing towards the direction that he will be announcing his retirement.
yeah.
In the past, Rask has not been shy about mentioning retirement and stepping away from the game. The thing is he going to retire completely and step away from the NHL and play for Finland, for example? Or is he done with hockey as a
Uh,
whole?
I think personally, look, I think that if you look at Tuukka Rask and his career and everything that he's done and everything that he's, played for. I mean, the guy's won a cup. Yes, he was a backup when he did it, but he still won a cup. And I think also what's interesting too is, he's made it to 3 Stanley Cup Finals in his career. 2 of them in which he lost, most recently against the St. Louis Blues. But I think what's good about Tuukka Rask as well is that he's a good goalie. Like he's played some big hockey for the Bruins. He's been a good goalie for years for them. He's had some really good stats. He's played fantastic, and he's kept the Bruins in playoff contention every single year. And I know that a lot of Bruins fans, at least at the time, or a lot of Bruins fans that I've heard of, don't really appreciate or never really appreciated Tuukka Rask and always, kind of blamed him if it came to playoff failures or whatever. I personally think that he's one of the best goalies the Bruins have had, if not the best goalie that the Bruins have had in a long time or at all. And I think that, at the end of the day, this guy's got a big opportunity to make. We saw what he did in the playoff playing round a couple of years ago, when he left the bubble to go and, spend time with his family and his daughter, whatever. And there was
Which got a
talk.
lot of criticism
Yeah.
for
And
by
I thought,
the Bruins fan base and by the NHL as a
that's
whole.
it. And I think that's what made it very interesting, right? Is that he had left to go, spend time with his daughter and his family and whatever. And people thought, oh, okay, that's it. He's going to retire. And then he came back and played another year. And after this year, people were like, oh, okay, this is where he's going to retire now. And then, midway through this season, we all kind of thought the same thing. Oh, okay, Tuukka Rask is not coming back. And then he, decides to start practicing with the Bruins and he signs that 1 year contract. And now he's back in the NHL. And you're like, okay, Tuukka Rask is back again. But to be honest, we saw this coming like 2 years ago, in my opinion. And I think
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah,
people, like, I think it's not, to me personally, if he announces his retirement officially, I don't think it's surprising at all. I think that we saw this coming and we knew this was coming one way or another. It was just a matter of when, not if. And I think it's a little bit surprising that it's happening now because I thought that he was, yes, his stats don't show it, but I think he was playing not that bad. I know the goal game that he let in. I know he wasn't great, but I'm just pretty surprised. But I mean, look, at the end of the day, he's had a great career. He's played fantastic hockey, and I think if his time is up, his time is up. So that's how I see it. Kazuto, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with everything you've said. I think, it was kind of, I saw it coming that he was going to retire. I mean, he's not young either. And with all the injuries going on, I mean, I see him stepping away from the NHL, but I don't see him stepping away from hockey completely, though. I do honestly think he might play. Would you mentioned for the
In Finland, right? In
in
his hometown in
Finland?
Finland.
yeah. In
Yeah,
Finland,
I would see that happening. I mean, he's not like super old, like he can't play, So I still think he's somewhat like great. Is he going to be playing at like the high? He's not going to be playing as high level as in the NHL, so it might be a bit easier for him. But I don't see him stepping away from the game completely. If anything, he might get like an office job or
yeah,
something.
that's what I was thinking. Probably
Yeah.
they were gonna honor him. Probably after once he announces his retirement. Do the whole shebang type of thing. Say thank you so much to Karask, whatever. They're not gonna retire his number. They're just gonna announce his
Uh,
retirement
I
and
think they
stuff.
should. Can I be honest? I think they should. And
Yeah,
the
I mean he's
reason
been there for 13 years,
the reason
so
why I think they should is because I think he's look. I know theoretically speaking, he didn't win a cup as a starter, but he's had a great career. And in my opinion, if you look at the numbers that Tuukka Rask has put up, some can argue that he's a Hall of Fame. I'm not saying that he's going to make the Hall of Fame. I'm
can
just
I
saying
read his
some.
numbers, his career numbers, if
Yeah, his
you don't
career
mind?
numbers are really good.
So he's played 564 games, won 307, lost 165.
Yeah,
Overtime losses 66. His GAA is 2.28, and his
goals
save
against average.
percentage is point 92 9
Yeah.
to 1. So essentially,
And
those
he's
are
got
fantastic
52
numbers.
shutouts too. 52 shutouts in his career as
52
well.
shutouts too. So I'm like, you can't take away uh anything from him. Despite what the fans think or any hockey fans in general, what they think about Tuukka Rask. Oh, he's not a top 10 goalie in the league and stuff like that. He's overrated, this and that. Clearly, the record shows that he is an elite goaltender. We're not saying he's a franchise goaltender. He's an elite goaltender that will definitely have a spot essentially in the Hall of Fame one day, and probably get his number
I
draft
think they should. I think
I
retired.
mean, he's
Sorry.
already technically in the Hall of Fame. His name's on the cup, so
Yeah, but they're
yeah,
gonna take
but
the next
like
step and retire it.
officially being
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
introduced. But
introduce
I
him,
think
induct him
yeah,
essentially in the Hall
inducted.
of Fame. And by the way, just to answer your question, the Finnish league is called the SM Liga. So
Yes.
that's so that's where we could see Tuukka Rask
Yeah.
essentially moving
I
because he is 34 years old. I think maybe he could play 2 more years of hockey, and he values family as a prime
Well,
component to his life. The thing is his life in Boston or is his life in
in
Finland?
Finland. I think personally, here's what I think is going to happen. I think if you're Tuukka Rask or even if you're the Bruins, it's an opportunity for them to offer him an office job, like you mentioned. And the reason I think it's really important is because a lot of the Bruins players, if you've heard guys like Brad Marchand, Patrice Bergeron, a lot of the big players on the team, the leaders on the team, always talk highly about how great Tuukka Rask was in the room and how important he was to the team and whatever. And I think with that, putting him in a team where he gets a management role, or even as an assistant coach or a scout or whatever it is that they decide to put him in, I think just being around the Bruins and being a part of a management group in Boston and helping that team, achieve another Stanley Cup in the future. I think that would be really good for Tuukka Rask's career. And not only that, he doesn't have to move. He can stay in Boston. He still, lives in Boston, whatever. Lives in Boston too. So, for him, it doesn't really matter. But again, if he wants to still play hockey, maybe like Pizzuto mentioned, it's about maybe he wants to go back to Finland. Maybe he finishes his career in Finland, and he goes back to his hometown where he's from, and he plays hockey over there. Because I think if he really misses the game, but like Pizzuto said again too, maybe it's time for him not to play at the high level anymore. Maybe it's for him to take a step back and go a step lower, and finish his career off there. And sometimes he's already had a really good career. He's already got a cup ring. For him, there's not really much else that he needs to win, in my
Yeah.
opinion. So I think if it's time for him to call it a career, I now's the perfect time to do it.
Look, 3 Stanley Cup Finals appearances for Tuukka Rask,
Yeah,
1 Stanley Cup win, uh, the Jennings Trophy that he won alongside Halak
Vezina.
in 2020, the Vezina in 2014. This guy has hardware to prove why he's an elite goaltender, essentially. So
Yeah,
no one could take that away from him. And I just want to say one thing that I find funny is that we always joke around, and especially Bruins fans joke around that. They always beat Toronto in the first round. Like Bruins are basically the Leafs kryptonite. But no, for people that don't know this, the Toronto
Yeah,
Maple Leafs drafted Tuukka Rask in
I was gonna say
2005.
that. I was like,
they
man,
traded him for
Toronto could
Andrew
have had him.
Raycroft.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he was a first round pick, drafted 21st overall. And if I'm not mistaken, he was part of the Phil Kessel deal that had Phil Kessel go to Toronto, and Tuukka Rask was part of the deal
I
going
don't know, but
to
I know
Boston.
that Andrew Raycroft was involved in the deal that had Tuukka Rask going to Boston, which is still one of the worst trades in NHL history because
So it wasn't
that's
Phil Kessel?
I think it was a one for one. I'm not sure the exact trade. But what I will say is that if that is the case, if it is a deal where it's Andrew Raycroft and Tuukka Rask only, that's one of the worst trades the Leafs have ever made.
Yeah,
And
no, it is in exchange for goaltender Andrew Raycroft.
yeah,
And guess who made that trade?
Jeff Gordon, interim GM at the
Yeah.
time in 2006. So I think the Montreal
yeah.
Canadiens are in a pretty good spot if he was able to pull a trade like
But
that.
I mean,
And
yeah, but I think it goes to show you one thing, and one thing that we've learned about the whole time. If what we talked about this, how many how funny it is that Tuukka Rask, again got drafted by the Leafs, but then not only that, he eliminated the Leafs 3 times in Game 7, 3 times, and so that's pretty crazy to think about. That in 3 playoff series that he's played against the Toronto Maple Leafs, he's eliminated them in Game 7 all 3 times. So I just find that really funny.
yeah,
So for him, he's got a legacy in Boston, and I think for that reason alone, he should get his number retired because I think he's played so well and he's had really good numbers and he's won a cup too, and he's been a big part of the reason why the Bruins have been so successful. That I think not retiring his number would be very surprising, in my opinion. But it depends on what the Bruins want to do. But I think personally, he's earned that right at least get his number retired and get his number up in the rafters of TD Garden.
well, I just want to say thanks, Luca, for correcting me with that deal. I know they
Yeah,
because it's not every year basically that we hear Toronto and Boston making a deal, and knowing that they made
yeah,
2 blockbuster deals essentially in
yeah.
the early 2000s. I was actually shocked about that Ras deal. I was actually pretty sure that he was part of the
No,
Phil
I
Kessel
was.
deal.
I remember when people talked about it, and they were like, "Oh, Andrew Raycroft for Tuukka Rask," and I'm like, "That's one of the worst trades in NHL history.
Yeah, that
Like that
that's
was
bad.
horrible." I don't
But
know what the
thanks for
Leafs were
correcting
thinking,
me
but
on that.
anyways,
And we just wanted to say that we wish Tuukka Rask a a fantastic rest of his life essentially outside of the hockey world. And I mean, if it comes to that where he's not going to be part of the hockey world at all, meaning he won't take a position in the Boston Bruins office management, or he will join Finland in some capacity as a goaltender, maybe a general manager there, or whatever, or a coach one day. But we just wanted to say, get well to Rask. It's been an honor. This is another player that we grew up with, and that's retiring. And our generation of players that we watched are essentially getting older now, so this is
Yeah.
very sad for us, at 21 years old, turning 22, essentially seeing a goaltender that we grew up watching, a guy that played for the Boston Bruins, one of the best teams in the 21st century.
Yeah.
It's very, very, it's shocking to everyone to see, like, such a great player, hang up his skates, and we're like, oh my god, like we're starting to realize that we're getting old too,
Yeah.
so uh we just wanted to say good luck to Karask. Maybe this is not the way that you intended to retire, but I really hope that the Boston Bruins show respect and appreciation to one of the most underappreciated goaltenders in the league, and that wore the Boston Bruins jersey.
And
And I
one
don't
of
know
the
if you
most
guys have
criticized.
anything else to add to that.
Not really. I think we've
Not really. I mean, honestly, it is sad to see a lot of these guys retire.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I just
I
I'm
mean,
not looking
I'll
forward.
say
I'm
one.
not looking forward to some other guys
I'll
when
say
their day
one thing.
comes. So
I'll say
yeah,
one thing about Tuukka Rask, and it's just a funny moment, and it's not to criticize any Bruins fans. I just laughed at this moment because I always thought it was really funny. But when Tuukka Rask, it was a shootout against the Canadians, and he got scored on, and he was so mad that he banged his stick on the boards, and then he fell down backwards as he was smashing his stick on the boards. And I thought that was the funniest moment that Tuukka Rask had. But there's been others. He's made some big saves too. I remember the one against on Darren Helm in Game One of the playoffs against Detroit a couple of years ago. There was the Patty Kane one as well that he made. So there's a lot of big saves that Tuukka Rask has made, two in his career that have helped the Bruins out too. But I just remember that funny moment as being one of the moments that highlights Rask's career. So
yeah, definitely a guy that was not really good with controlling his temper. We've seen it in at the junior level. We've seen it at
yeah,
the NHL level. But we love Tuukka Rask for that, and we
yeah,
appreciate what he was able to bring to the game. And he was a personality essentially. He was fun to watch growing up, and we just wanted to say thank you
thank
for
you.
everything, Tuukka. Uh, we'll see you around. And Boston Bruin fans, we want to hear what your thoughts. Is this
Yeah.
shocking for you? Did you guys see this coming? What are your initial thoughts about one of the best goaltenders of all time to play for the Boston Bruins, essentially calling it quits, and
Mhm.
due to a career-ending injury, essentially, and yeah, again, very sad day for Boston Bruin fans. Very sad day for NHL fans and the whole league as a whole. So just wanted to
Yeah.
say thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, check out any content that we posted in the past. We're almost at 500, so it'd be awesome if maybe this video helps us get to 500. Um,
Yes.
and we're still on the righteous path of trying to achieve our goal of hitting 1K. So thank you so much, guys. We'll see you on the next one.